Shall we play a game?
Hello and welcome back to Vintage Gaming Memories. Let's just get right into this one. So I'm really excited to share with you this custom controller I received from Hazon78, who is also known by that same name on Atari Age. And you might be familiar perhaps of the video I made a number of months back of an item I purchased from him as well. And it was another controller that was custom made. You can check that video by clicking right over here if you want to see it. Definitely well worth looking at it. However, this custom build is definitely special and unique. Now, I know all custom builds are unique because they're not coming from an assembly line where they're all kind of, you know, identical. But this one here, well, before I even get into that, let's just open it up and you'll see why it's very unique. Oh, and by the way, you can see that it came from overseas. In the Midwest of the United States, and this came from Italy, and you can see the Italian writing on here on the box itself, which I think says to keep this upright, which it is. Well, whether it was transported like this all the way, I doubt it, but it's a controller, right? And it should be totally fine. Okay. Let's do it this way. I can see it already. I'm excited. How's that so far? All right, let me put stuff on the side first, and we'll talk about it. Okay, check this out here. Tell me, if you can, figure it out, what is so unique about this just by looking at it. Outside of the outside designs, put that aside, which we'll go over detailed, but what do you think is different just by looking at it? Any idea? Let me pick it up and see if you can figure that out. It's got a lot of cool designs on here that I'll talk more about, but if you were here to feel this in my hand, you would know right away. I'll give you a hint. Not plastic, not metal. This is actually made out of wood. How cool is that? It's very light, which is so nice, but it's got the quality that you would probably expect in joysticks inside. I think this is so cool. VGM, I also asked for a little bit extra on there, and I appreciate it, Manuel. Thank you so much. Vintage Gaming Memories. It's got indicators of what the buttons are for. Another thing I had also customized so it could work with the 7800 games. These buttons work individually. And then, let's see. Oh, Pac-Man theme. Love that. Space Invaders. The name on there, too. Wood Game Box, version 1.04. And Atari 7800. And then the bottom, oh, actually the side, I forgot. Gaming Zone. And then the bottom, the Fuji itself. Beautifully made. I mean, this is such an awesome looking box. It has a little rubber footings on the bottom as well. Oh, solid, solid, solid. You gotta love the button feel too. Nice cord. Let's measure that cord out too. Just curious. He had this on sale though on eBay. He sold out very quick. Not sure if he has more up, but I'll put a link to his eBay as well as his name that's on Atari Age if you want to contact him. Oh, definitely nice and long cable. This looks to be a 5-foot cord. And I love this too. Sweet. How about that? And please don't forget to do that. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And again, it really does help grow this channel because I get to see and find out what areas you like to see more of, and getting feedback helps me improve. So thank you very much, and don't forget to... Again, by the way, I'm not getting any incentive for promoting this. I am a customer, and I do like the products that he produces. So far, 2 things I purchased from him. I use the other one all the time. I use that with the brats, so I'll give Brat a little credit as well. Those are my 2 favorite controllers. Yeah, it's wood, so you definitely don't want to keep it just thrown around because I don't want to break this. I'm not saying it's fragile, but I don't throw my controllers around anymore. I am not a child anymore like I used to. I would toss them and just not care about it. Look at the design on this. Let me give you a closer view if you could see. I mean, it does say he had this all laser cut. I mean, I just really am amazed. I never thought of a wooden controller. We will go ahead and give it a shot, and let's play a game on it and see how it goes. All right, well, I have the wooden controller. If you can see it in the video, it's kind of dark. This is the wooden controller. It is plugged into the 7800 system, and we're going to play a game that will utilize both of these buttons individually for serving its own function. So in other words, each button will have a different function for this game. The game is going to be called Choplifter. So you're probably all familiar with that. And I know one button will control firing and the other button will control the rotation of the helicopter, if this is configured correctly. What else? I'm going to test the mobility of the 8 directions on this controller as well. And then just kind of get an idea of the feel of it, because it's kind of funny that it's so light, but it feels like it's on air, like you're just holding nothing, you know. And you can hear the clicking. It sounds great. The buttons have a nice pushback when you press down it, so it's really got a good feel. But let's really give it a test. So here we go with Choplifter. I'm going to hold the controller up so you can see a little bit. We'll start it, we'll push a button. Now I'm going to hover. And I'm going to push the left button first, see what it does. And that is rotating my helicopter, like it should. We'll press the other button and it should fire. And it does. Rotate, fire. So it works great. Now let's give it a try with going all direction. I'm going vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and it's reacting great. It feels good. And another thing, the shaft on this controller is metal, so it feels very solid. The ball on top is a good size. It goes right in your palm nicely. And the box, the base, being wooden, yeah, I mean, you don't want to press hard on it. You don't want to abuse it. You shouldn't abuse your stuff anyways, right? But it feels just right in your hand. It just feels kind of funny because it's wood, but it does feel good because it's light. It's not so heavy and a burden to hold. I mean, I'm holding it up in the air and it feels like I'm holding nothing. We're going to definitely weigh this and see exactly what it weighs in a little bit. You know, gameplay, there's not much to get used to. It feels perfect. I love this. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what's inside. Okay, so we're back in the workshop here. Let's weigh this and compare it with some other joysticks that we're all familiar with. So I got my trusty scale here. Set at 0. We'll put it on top, of course, with the cord. A full weight of everything. 11.4 ounces. Okay, now let's try weighing it with the craft joystick. Very small. Looks to be very light, but it's got a pretty long cord, which could actually weigh it down. This one is 6 ounces, but a lot different in size compared to the wooden one, which has a huge base. So about twice as heavy. Well, now let's compare the weight of that wooden one with something more of its same size, which is the bratwurst one. So let's see what this weighs in it. This one's at a whopping 1 pound, 2.9 ounces, quite a bit heavier than the wooden one. And then the last thing we'll compare it with is something that we're all familiar with. Your typical Atari joystick. 6.3 ounces. So that's where that comes in as far as the weight. You get an idea. Okay, let's take this apart. It's pretty basic. There's only 4 screws, and they're on top, not on the bottom like you might see on some of these. So let's see what's inside. So I've taken the 4 screws very carefully because they're not long, and I really don't want to ruin the wood. The top comes off. Look at that. It's like a little jewelry box. You've got a lot of space inside here. As you can see here, there's the resistors put in place for both of the buttons, and they serve the purpose of having separate functions within games, like I just showed you with the Choplifter one. Very nicely done. There's a lot of space in here. I don't know, I mean, I guess you can light it up, right? Maybe? I don't know about that. I'm happy with it. I'm not going to change this up. You could probably get lighted buttons, but I don't know. That's not my style with this. You can see the bottom here of the joystick controller. I can easily just rotate that to make it a 4-directional stick, or leave it as is, which is right now an 8 direction. And you can see it's 8 because, once again, I showed this in another video. Let me see if I can hold it with one hand here without dropping it very carefully. That this is set as a square, which means you have movement in the corners, in top, bottom, left, and right. If it was turned to a more of a diamond shaped, which you would just rotate the bottom here, you would then only have 4 directions, which would be at each of the corners. So that's how that works. Okay, well, I put it all back together again, all 4 screws. Not really hard to do. Just don't want to strip it because it's wood. So let me give you my recap of this controller. Yeah, it's very unique. Very creative design. I mean, really, wood. I've never seen this before. Tell me if you have. What's next? Styrofoam? I mean, but it's not just creative looking and unique. It's very functional. It's not like cheap looking or anything as the parts go. The parts are really nice. This is like a really good controller with nice buttons, with nice reaction and feel to them. And it serves a nice purpose if you have it configured like this for like a 7800 game, or games that use the buttons separately for separate functions. It works like a charm. Now, it also feels great in your palm of your hand because it's very light, and it's shaped like a typical wide controller that you would see with the bratwurst ones, or you can put it on top of a table because you do have the 4 rubber footings on the bottom, and it'll keep itself steady and in place, and it won't be moving around. So you have a couple options. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I love it. If you're interested, I will put more information on the description for Hazon78. Again, that is his handle on Atari Age. I'll also put his eBay link there to see if he has anything else for sale, because he had a handful of these and they sold pretty quick. So that's all I got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for checking this out, and thank you Hazon78 for putting this all together. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep that gaming passion from the past alive by living it today. Take care, everyone.